Our friends is so unique. Here in the world, they make a change. Let's focus on the things we should know so they won't seem strange. At times it feels like a confusing thing. We can understand now from the books we read. Think of all the knowledge you should stay in the game. It's golden and so satisfactory. Autistic kids are just like you. You are awesome and I am awesome too. There's only one thing that you need to do. Just show that you care and you'll break through. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with boys and girls today. Let us all celebrate the friends that we have made. They like to play in their own way. They speak with more than words, like or okay. They like the things they do, and they can do them every day. But let's be aware, we are all the same. It's more difficult for some, but to be down or be afraid. Our friends is so unique. Here in the world, they make a change. Let's focus on the things we should know so they won't seem strange. At times it feels like a confusing thing. We can understand now from the books we read. Think of all the knowledge you should stay in the game. It's golden and so satisfactory. Autistic kids are just like you. You are awesome and I am awesome too. There's only one thing that you need to do. Just show that you care and you'll break through. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book. Let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with boys and girls today. Let us all celebrate the friends that we have made. They like to play in their own way. They speak with more than words, like or okay. They like the things they do, and they can do them every day. But let's be aware, we are all the same. It's more difficult for some, but to be down or be afraid. Our friends is so unique. Here in the world, they make a change. Let's focus on the things we should know so they won't seem strange. At times it feels like a confusing thing. We can understand now from the books we read. Think of all the knowledge you should stay in the game. It's golden and so satisfactory. Autistic kids are just like you. You are awesome and I am awesome too. There's only one thing that you need to do. Just show that you care and you'll break through.
Okay, I noticed my mute was mic on this end. Hey, Instagram. Hey, YouTube and Facebook. Happy Word of Read Aloud Day. Today is a day that we encourage our kids to read, and we encourage our parents to read aloud to them. And we're going to get to some great stories. Today, I'm reading Just Like You. And the reason why I'm reading this book is, yes, because I am the author of Just Like You. But we also talk about autism awareness. And I feel like we need more awareness when it comes to autism. And I'm going to be very honest. When I got into autism awareness, I didn't know anything. I started to Google. I started to go to special need conferences to understand how to better serve my child. So within this book, I did put resources. If you haven't purchased, well, shame on you because there's a whole bunch of resources in here. But we're not gonna go through all of that. But I'm gonna start here and go read. Today I'm reading Just Like You by me, Crystal Jordan. Zachariah was a joyful baby boy from birth. He was a pure definition of a beautiful black baby. With very curly hair and lovely melanin skin, he also had a bright smile that would light up his day, even if all wasn't going well. So I'm going to show y'all the pictures. Zachariah was diagnosed at the age of 2 with autism. He is nonverbal, unable to speak and form other words like other kids his age. So let's stop right there. So I put that in there because this paragraph actually did happen. He was diagnosed at 2 years old with autism, and he was not talking. He didn't have a lot of vocabulary. So that was made him nonverbal. And he just used sounds. A lot of vocalization, a lot of stimming. Anyway, his parents was very shocked by the doctor diagnosis of their son. His mom, Miss Jordan, was mostly sad. But she always prayed and believed that Zachariah would turn out to be an amazing boy. Despite her son diagnosis, she knew that he was special, and she was committed to always showing Zachariah how much he was loved. This is the page. Let me try to hold on Instagram and then YouTube and Facebook. This is the page I'm reading right here. Okay. If anybody have any questions, you can comment and I will answer them when I'm almost done reading the book. So he always had a way of bringing happiness and life into the room. He wasn't a boy of many words, but that didn't stop him from expressing himself through art. He was full of life and joy. You may ask, why didn't he talk much? Now, for the kids that are watching with your class, I ask, let's go back to that sentence. Why didn't he talk much? Remember, I said in this page right here that he was nonverbal. So that's why he doesn't talk much. And then I'll make sure I show y'all that picture. The little boy mostly communicated using nonverbal cues and pointing gestures. For example, when he was happy, he would jump up and down. He would clap his hands, tap his fingers, or when he was sad, he would have meltdowns. And sometimes in the autism world, meltdowns are also temper tantrums compared to your eye if you don't know what a meltdown is. And I deal with those daily, y'all. So this is the picture. Miss Jordan worked hard for months to get Zachariah into school. Well, the day had finally came, and Zach's first day has arrived. Miss Jordan was incredibly excited for her little boy to mix and mingle and make new play buddies. At the same time, however, she was scared that some kids wouldn't understand her baby boy and they might make fun of him. She said a silent prayer, holding Zachariah's hand as they went to Camp Bridge Gates Elementary. So let's get into this page. So for the kids that are watching, and you are watching with your parents, the replay or whatever. So when you have somebody who's nonverbal or considered different or not your neurotypical kid, sometimes the parents like me, we are very nervous on how you're going to treat them or are you going to accept them for who they are. So this book have a little bit of truth in it and some is fiction, some is not fiction. A lot of people ask that, was this true? Most of it is true. And who do we have here? Asked a excited Mrs. Patience, the kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Patience was going to be Zachariah's class teacher. The boy instantly liked his new teacher and went to hug her. He kept pointing at her glasses and looking back at his parents. Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Patience. I think Zachariah is trying to say he likes your glasses, explained Mrs. Jordan. It's okay. I read his IEP report. And I am aware that he is on the spectrum. Zachariah is in good hands, and he will have speech twice a week. So I'm gonna stop right there. What is an IEP for people who don't know what an IEP is? An IEP is an individualized educational plan. So you put that in place if you have a kid that has special needs or behavior problems, for they can better the school system can better serve them. And that's a legal binding document. Let me say it again. That's a legal binding document. So whatever's in that document, they have to do it. And if they don't do it, you can amend it and they have to change it to what you want. Okay? Zachariah went to sit in the corner away from the other children while Mrs. Patient began to talk to Miss Jordan about her concerns for the school year. Zachariah was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old. He can't say any words because he's nonverbal. His speech isn't as developed as it should be, said Miss Jordan. We already talked about what nonverbal is. We already talked about why he doesn't talk. So she tried to keep herself from crying, but Mrs. Patience placed her hand on her shoulder to calm her down. I know what you're going through. I have a nephew just like him. The boy is just a delight to the family, and Zachariah, like he's a joyful baby boy too. I took some time to look up his IEP report, and we're going to start working on his goals today. Don't worry, Miss Jordan. Zachariah is in good hands. Miss Patience is showing Miss Jordan empathy right here. I love the fact that okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Take a little breather. I love the fact that that has never stopped him from being a happy kid. I feel much better knowing that you have taken the time to go over his report. It shows me that you will take good care of my baby boy, replied Miss Jordan. Like I said, if anybody have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. This is my first virtual read aloud. Anyway, oh, is that for me, Zachariah? Why, thank you, little angel. This is beautiful. Did you draw it? Asked impressed Mrs. Patience. Zachariah nodded with a big smile on his face and brought with him a pretty drawing of a lily for his class teacher. The boy may not have been a chatterbox, but he was loud when it came to art. This is the lily. That's his teacher. Holding back tears of joy, his parents waved goodbye. They were so happy to see their little boy was excited about learning. Mrs. Patience took the hand of Zachariah and walked into the classroom. Excuse me, y'all. Good morning, class. I have a new friend for you. Say hi to Zachariah. Good morning, Mrs. Patience. Hello, Zachariah. Welcome to our class. It's fun to be here, and we hope you enjoy, replied the little boys and girls in unison. Zachariah just looked around and grabbed his teacher's leg. So let me explain why I wrote that sentence. This is a real thing. When he is nervous or is overwhelming, he would grab the leg. So that was very important that I caught that in this picture, in this page. Okay. Zachariah is nonverbal and on the spectrum. Okay. We already talked about nonverbal on the spectrum, you guys. He has very few words. Don't be shy, Zachariah. We're nice people, shouted Jax, his new desk mate. The class started to introduce themselves to their new classmate. It is now Zachariah's turn, and he was extremely nervous. He started stimming, flapping his hands, and jumping up and down. This is part of the stimming. Jumping up and down, spinning around, that is stimming as well. It was playtime, and the kids began to play with each other. But Zachariah went to the corner to play with toys along. See, Zachariah, don't play with other kids. Sometimes he played next to kids, but doesn't interact with them. So the reason why this page was very important, because this is a really factual for a lot of kids on the spectrum. They don't play with other kids unless they're used to them. So for this particular page, you guys, the reason why I did write that was because I wanted to showcase they love other people. They are very affectionate. But from Zachariah, he don't play with other kids. He'll play in the corner next to a kid, but not with them, if that makes sense. So that is a very factual thing. I want to make sure I showcase that. Even when the kids are, he's over here playing with his blocks and they over here. So I wanted to make sure. Okay. Jax walked up to Zachariah and introduced himself. Hi, my name is Jax. He sat next to Zachariah, who began to play with his blocks. Jax helped Zach stack the blocks so tall, they fell. Both boys laughed so much. Liam came over to help them clean up their mess since Mrs. Patience said playtime was almost done. All the kids began to clean up. Mrs. Patience played some music. Zachariah loved music. He started to dance. He closed his eyes, danced to the beat of the song. The other students were so amazed, they started shouting and clapping. Jax and Liam, they were good friends, and they talked about making Zachariah their new best friend. They thought he was so cool. I think Zachariah is cool, shouted a classmate. You go, Zach. You're so cool, shouted Jax. Mrs. Patience was completely shocked that Zachariah was doing so well on his first day. She was impressed. He may not have used many words, but he was indeed special. All the kids surrounded Zachariah, hugged him, and gave him high fives. And just like that, he became the most popular boy in class. Mrs. Patience, class, it's time to sit. A phrase that Zachariah was used to hearing since he joined ABA therapy. Zachariah quickly went to his assigned seat. And see, you might have questions. Sorry. As the class returned to their seats, everyone was already on their feet, clapping and chanting, Zachariah the coolest. Forget about the rest. And ABA therapy is behavior therapy. At 10 a.m., the bell began to ring. And Jackson Liam walked to Zachariah and offered to sit out. Sorry. At 10 a.m., y'all had a little time. At 10 a.m., the bell began to ring. Jackson Liam walked to Zachariah and offered to show him around school. They was very friendly and patient with him and instantly became his friends. That's all we ask for. That's all I ask for. You guys be friends with other kids who are not like you, but they're just like you. Be patient with them. Try to be understanding to them. Zachariah smiled, clapped his hands, and used his hand to make a heart sign. It was his way of saying that thank you. And he loves his new classmates. They all went to play on the swings together. Although Mrs. Patient kept a close eye on Zachariah, Jax and Liam took good care of their new friend. Zachariah was smiling, laughing, playing aside the other kids. It was indeed a great first day at school. See, Zachariah is just like you. He's just atypical. It's my favorite page, by the way, y'all. And atypical means they're just not society standard or normal. That's the way I describe that word. And then I'm done reading. So I talk about what is autism in the book. I have a glossary. Um, I break down terms. I thought that would be important to add that in here just in case somebody picked it up and they wasn't aware of the terms I was using. And I also put um, about the author. So I am done. Thank you everybody for coming for World Read Aloud Day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'm open to Q&A questions. Oh, thank you. Hey, thank you for showing your support. I'm reading some of the Facebook comments. So, did anybody have any questions? Sorry. Thank you. The book, what inspired me to write this book was I didn't see a lot of at the time, I didn't see a lot of books on the market that was featuring a Black kid that had autism. I understand there's other races that have autism. I'm not saying that. But for me, I wanted a book that looked like my son. When he picked it up, it can look like him. And that is what I did. So I created this book to represent the Black culture. So if somebody want to get introduced to autism or they can pick it up. Like, so that's the reason why this cover was so important. I'm reading something from Instagram. It says, "How long did it take you to create just like you?" It took me 6 months to create this book. 6 months. I started in October of 2020. I didn't announce it until like April. It may take a little bit longer than 6 months. I announced it last year, April, during Autism Awareness Month. So, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy that you loved the story. I'm happy that you loved my setup. That's why I was a little late today because I was trying to get everything up. And I also dropped a song to complement this book. So I'm going to drop that song today on World Read Aloud Day. I would play it, but I don't know if you guys gonna stay for the whole song. So I'll play some of it. See, give me y'all. It's gonna be part of the countdown video. Give me 1 second for you guys to see the amount of work I put into raising awareness in a fun way. So
Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book, let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book, let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with boys and girls today. Let us all celebrate the friends that we have made. They like to play in their own way. They speak with more than words, like or okay. They like the things they do, and they can do them every day. But let's be aware, we are all the same. It's more difficult for some, but to be down or be afraid. Our friends is so unique. Here in the world, they make a change. Let's focus on the things we should know so they won't seem strange. At times it feels like a confusing thing. We can understand now from the books we read. Think of all the knowledge that you stand to gain. It's golden and so satisfactory. Autistic kids are just like you. You are awesome and I am awesome too. There's only one thing that you need to do. Just show that you care and you'll break through. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book, let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me. Read a book about autism awareness, and then you can share it with your family. Read a book, let's get an education and teach it to the nation. Come and read with me.
Yep, y'all. I wrote that for fun, to be honest. I wrote it just for fun. Because I was gonna do a whole music video that stuff happened. And I'm still gonna do it. But that song is about, and I hope y'all like it. I have 2 songs about autism awareness that I dropped. I'm not an artist. I pay somebody to sing it and I just write it. So, Yes, it's about. Thank you. I think it's about you. I think the whole song is about. But if you don't have any more questions, you guys, I am going to talk on live. And once again, the book I was reading, if you don't know, is Just Like You. I am going live again on February the 8th at 1 p.m. I'm reading my new book, which is I Am Awesome. And it's a positive affirmation book, and you can buy it for your atypical kids and your neurotypical kids. And it's a book about positive affirmations. So I want kids like my son to feel like they are handsome, they are smart, they are enough. Just because they have autism don't define who they are. And I tell my son this every morning before he goes on the school bus. So I wanted to share my tradition with the world and have you guys read the things I say to my son. And like I said, if you don't know who I am, my name is Crystal Jordan. Sometimes I go by Crystal J. You can go to my website at www.zachariahword.com, but it's actually up here up top. You can see it, or it's also down below. On my Instagram, it's www.zachariahword.com. That is below the picture right here. And that's pretty much, you guys. I appreciate everybody who gets tuned in or will watch the replay or share my work. I really appreciate it because sharing is what caring and sharing is free. You guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much.